Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Sade. Thank y'all so much for joining me for our astrology talk. For today, we are diving into the Sagittarius full moon that we have happening on June 3rd. And this full moon will be opposing the sun that is in the sign of Gemini. So we have a lot of movement and energy happening this week, which can feel a little chaotic just because the full moon is naturally a yin energetic centered energy, and new moons are more yang based. And yin just means feminine, yang just means masculine. So because we have the full moon in the sign of Sagittarius, Sagittarius is a fire sign, it is mutable, and it is the ruler of progression and moving forward on one's journey. So this full moon is going to be opposing the sun, which is in the sign of Gemini. Gemini is also masculine, and it is air, ruling the mind and intellect. So we have movement, progression, going forward towards one's journey, one's destination, and then we have the mind. So these two signs coming together, it can bring a lot of spontaneity, a lot of energy. And because Gemini rules the mind, and we right now have the sun, which rules our vitality, it rules action in the sign of Gemini, expect for there to be a lot of change. Both of these signs, Gemini and Sagittarius, are mutable. And the importance of mutable energy is to prepare us for the shift into a new season. So Gemini comes right before Cancer, and Cancer shifts us into the summer solstice, where we are in a brand new season, which brings different type of energy. So because we are in this mutable season of right now, there is a lot of change happening. And there is a lot of change and chatter and communication happening within the mind, a lot of information that we are receiving. Gemini rules information, it rules communication, and it also rules social media. So there's a lot of information that's coming in. With it opposing Sagittarius, it's really asking us to stand firm in our truths and our beliefs. Sagittarius is naturally ruled by the planet Jupiter. Jupiter is that planet of philosophy, of religion, of expansion. So because we have expansion with the sign of Sagittarius, and we have movement and intellect with the sign of Gemini, expect for new ideas to come in. Expect for there to be innovative, spontaneous ways of doing things that might not have went as planned. Gemini likes to do things by the book, not in an earth sign type of way, but just because Gemini rules the mind, it rules intellect, it rules information. Gemini energy likes the facts. Sagittarius doesn't mind the facts, but it's all about what is your belief? What do you feel spiritually? Sagittarius is a very spiritual sign. What do you feel spiritually that might not go with the facts that you have learned, but it's something that is true for you? And because that truth may not be in alignment with the information, it is okay for you to stand in that truth of what is right for you and what you believe in. Sagittarius is all about belief. And when we're working with Sagittarius and Gemini, it's this reminder that it is okay to change our mind, but it's not okay to change who we are, because Sagittarius stands firm in truth, and also understanding Sagittarius is the last fire sign. Gemini is the first air sign. So when you're working with Gemini energy, it's the first air. It's a bit chaotic because it's learning all this information, connecting with all these different types of people, and just receiving different ideas. Sagittarius being the last fire sign, it's already gone through all of the fire. It's more so grounded in self in a spiritual way, and not needing to conform all the time to all of the shifts and changes and the new ideas. You know, you can be interested in these ideas, but what stands true for you? So working with these two signs is the balance between the intellect and the spirit. What are you learning, and what is your belief? It is okay to change your mind, but you don't necessarily have to change who you are. And when you're working with Gemini, Gemini can be so mutable that sometimes Gemini energy, and I said this in my Gemini Sun video, if you haven't had a chance to check that out, Gemini energy can struggle with figuring out, where do I actually stand? Who am I actually when I'm not constantly adapting to the new information and the new environment. Now, what's going to help these two signs is we have the planet Mercury, which is officially out of its shadow retrograde in the sign of Taurus. So even though there's a lot of energy, a lot of movement, a lot of information, with this being in the sign of Taurus, it's going to bring some stability to the mind. Taurus likes to be balanced. It likes to be in a peaceful union with others, and it likes harmony as well as boundaries. So we can really use this Mercury planet in the sign of Taurus to bring some stability to the mind and also to believe in oneself and attract. Taurus is a Venus-ruled sign, so attracting what we want and not necessarily thinking that we have to go after things all the time, trusting that it'll come to us. Another thing that's going to help this energy is the planet Jupiter, which is naturally the planet ruler of Sagittarius, is also in the sign of Taurus, which is a Venus sign. So really believing in oneself. Sagittarius is all about optimism and belief, as well as trusting in the universe and trusting that everything will go as planned and it will be in your best interest. So when we can lean into that trust of this full moon, then we can really attract with that Venus energy all of the things that we really truly want for ourselves, and do all of that while still being grounded and stable in our mind. Another beautiful thing is we do have Venus in Cancer as well as Saturn in Pisces. And even though fire and water don't necessarily mix the greatest, as well as fire, as well as water and air, with these two energies, it's really going to be a spiritual, intuitive type of week. How are you feeling with what the universe is showing you? Trust in what you're feeling intuitively, and then you can make adjustments to move on that path and that direction, despite all of the change that's happening around you as well as within you as we prepare for this summer season. So lots of movement, but so much beautiful energy to work with, especially since we are out of the eclipse energy. We can now see things clearly for what they are. We can now feel intuitively where we need to move on our path and our journey. And we can trust that the universe is always looking out for us, supporting us, protecting us on our journey. All right, everyone, have an amazing full moon. Stay grounded, stay rested, and I will see you for our next video.